It's official. Life as we know it is coming to an end. I'm G here, your down and dirty yogi. Michelle Obama just admitted that she is suffering from some levels of depression. And I think we all are to a certain extent. However, Michelle Obama, a multimillionaire, married to Barack Obama with basically a pretty perfect life, just admitted that she is suffering from levels of depression. And of course, this world that we live in right now is definitely not helping most of us be happy. But listening to her, I asked myself the question, how happy are we really anyway? And has what's been going on just put on display the realities? Has what's happened in the world with the COVID crisis, with having to deal with having to deal with Trump in the White House, having to deal with all of the things that are going on right now in the world, has it just put on display what's really been going on inside all of us anyway? What was really making us happy anyway? You know, like before COVID, before we were shuttered in our houses and basically became, hermits and antisocial beings, before we had to wear masks outside of our house. Like, what was making us happy anyway? What do we have in our lives that we were truly, truly happy about? Was it our family? We're stuck in the house with them and we're finding out, you know what? Not so much. Was it our, mates? COVID has definitely ruined some relationships. Having to stay 30 days a week nonstop with our mates has kind of put a different spin on some people's relationships. A lot of our lives weren't that happy to begin with. Drop the thing. It's like we never really knew what was making us happy. What we've become are our things. We've become the things that we have. We've become the things that we want. We have become our jobs, like what that means. And some of us have lost our jobs. Some of us have had to change the way we live completely. And it's put us in a tailspin, and it's with our heads, right? So, yeah, so many of us are depressed. And how are we going to ever be happy again? Because the truth is, how we look at ourselves in this world is changing. And where we fit in this world is adjusting constantly because of things that are out of our control. COVID's out of our control. Let's just face it. Whether you're an anti-masker or, somebody who wants to live their lives freely and get rid of this thing that's hovering over our heads, that's a whole nother thing. And then there's everything else, absolutely everything else. So how can we be happy again? Do we change our value system? Do we say, you know what? All of the ideas of what happiness is that have been fed to us need to change. And it's one of the things that we struggle with in this life. Excuse me, someone else is getting unhappy. How do we make our value system different? How do we change what makes us happy? Or is the truth that we weren't happy to begin with? That all of these things that we think make us happy are to try and keep up with who we think we need to keep up with, the Joneses, the Kardashians, whomever. Like, if we can't compare ourselves to everybody else, how do we define our happiness? He doesn't know. When I start to look at myself and my own happiness, I wonder, how did I find happiness in these moments? When I started to try and look at how I can adjust my life, how my finances could change, how I can do things differently. And not everyone can do that, I understand. But how do we start to evolve in this world when there's so much strife And there's simply just so much weight on us on a constant basis. There doesn't feel like there is ever a time where it's just chill, where you can just be. And those are the moments that, for me, I started to look for joy in the moments that I could just be. To turn off the social media, like, can we be happy if our haters are not enjoying seeing us, living our best lives? How can we live our best COVID lives? Like, what does that even look like? How do we live our best lives if we are not feeling like we're living life? If everything seems like a problem, it begs the question, is our value system simply screwed up? Have we done all the things that we've done just to be unhappy? Do we look at our lives differently because of what we cannot control? And there's so many things right now that are out of our control, which leaves so many of us simply spinning and wondering what to do with ourselves. And we have so much stimulation, and so many opportunities to be stimulated, that we don't take these moments to just be quiet. Because in a way, like, right now is the hugest opportunity for some of us to be quiet, to reflect, to be able to find the help that we need for certain aspects of our life. And if we can't have those moments of reflection now, if and when the world restarts, how are we going to really truly be happy? We're just going to carry these feelings of depression, of sadness, of being out of control into the next phase of whatever is next. How do we change so that our value system allows us to be happier despite everything that's going on? And we can hope for political change, we can hope for social justice and civil rights to be one of those things that come along as we are evolving, but we can't control everything that's happening. And the truth of the matter is, we still need to find ways to balance all of our emotions and to allow ourselves to be happy, to allow ourselves to find joy. And it's a part of self-care. So for me, I think that what I've been trying to do, even in the stressful moments, being kind of closed off with children and, feeling the stress of a relationship and my mate and all of those things, what I've chosen to focus on is how these people help me grow, the lessons that they teach me. I think that this period in time has definitely left us with the opportunity to reevaluate our value system, how we are looking at the things in the world that make us happy or that we think make us happy. Start to look at how we can come out of this moment in time different. A lot of people are doing projects and trying to improve themselves, taking classes, and it's so beautiful to see. But if that doesn't change our value system in the sense that ultimately these things need to be for our own personal growth, for our own personal experience, without being something that compares to others, and not even making it a competition. Like, I'm gonna come out of COVID quarantine better than all of y'all. Like, that can't be the thing. That's not going to bring you happiness, and it's not going to help your joy. So I do think that we have an opportunity here to really, really take moments for self-care. Take this time to assess ourselves, our value systems, and to allow ourselves time to be joyful and happy going forward, that is not wrapped up in society's expectations. And I know some of us are like, I don't give a what everybody thinks, and that's fine, but is it true? Like, do we really constantly say that, but we do so many things that prove ourselves the opposite, So here we are with this chance to just say, like, you know what, F it, I'm gonna do me as best as I can, and find freaking happiness. Be happy, be joyful, and stay in those moments, like, as long as you can, no matter what they are. This isn't a real phone, by the way. This is just a toy. Appreciate the things that you have, whatever it is, like, even if it's your messy partner, even if it's your terrible family, to find some ways to find joy. I mean, that could be like, you know what, my joy is I left all of those terrible things and I'm by myself and am happier. That could be fine, but be there in that moment. My yoga wisdom tells me to say. So for myself, and when I think about my practice and how I incorporate these moments in my life, I am focused and being present and trying to keep my presence where I am with my children, with my family, and working on making those moments as important as they are, because these times are important to get to know ourselves, to get to know the people we live with again, because sometimes we just simply forget. So I think that he's done, he is over it, and I'm gonna have to go. Thanks so much for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you think. Are you happy? Are you depressed? Are you suffering? Have you been assessing your value systems now that you have time to think? I have no time. So, ciao ciao for now.